Hello, today we are going to learn about exponents. A lot of this will be review, but some of it won't, so make sure you're paying close attention. These are doodle notes, so you can have a couple of different markers or highlighters, and then you can just make sure you put your name up here at the top of the page, right here, because you are going to submit these when you're done. Exponents, if you recall, it means like this number here, this is a b by the way, b multiplied by what n times? A lot of people think that it's b times n. It's not b times n. It is b multiplied by itself. So in this case, I'm going to just say b. N times. It is not b times n. It is b times b times b times b, and on and on and on until you reach the n times. This n up here, if you want to just outline this nice arrow, this is the exponent. So let's write that in so we don't forget. That is the exponent. Sometimes we call it the power. I'm doing this on my computer, so it's very hard to write. Exponent or power. This b down here is the base. Make sure you write that in. Like we said, these are doodle notes, so if you have a couple of different colors and that makes you happy, go for it. So this big number, the bigger number, is the base. And that's the number that's going to be repeatedly multiplied by itself, and the exponent tells us how many times. Let's go way back up here to the top. It says when you first learned multiplication, you probably represented multiplication using repeated addition in groups. Basic exponent operations can be represented by repeated multiplication. That's really what exponents are. It's just repeated multiplication. So we don't have to write it all out. It's a lot easier this way. That's multiplication. I'm hoping you can read my writing. So there are several examples given. If you look, this is 4 to the third power. So the base is 4, the exponent's 3. That means I'm going to multiply 4 by itself 3 times. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. The next one says 1 to the 5th power. That means I'm multiplying 1 5 times. It is not 1 times 5. The answer here is not 5. It's 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, which is really just 1. Perfect. Now we have to do a little bit more work here. This is 3 to the 2nd power. So the base is what's being multiplied repeatedly. And how many of those do I need? It says here the exponent's 2. I need 2 of those. And now I have 3 times 3, which is 9. Excellent. When we say an exponent out loud, we call a number with a power of 2, we say squared. I'm sure you've remembered that when we talk about area, we say squared units because it's to the 2nd power. But you'll hear us say that a lot. When it's to the 2nd power, we say squared all the time. And if it's a power of 3, we say cubed. Think for a second, where have we used cubed before? And to our 7th graders that we had last year, we know you are probably thinking volume, cubed units. Now I have to scroll down, so that means I'm going to clear the page. If you need to, feel free to stop and pause this so you can get all of the notes. We're going to try some problems on our own, but first I want to go over a few things with you. These special little dots on the side tell us some information we might need to know. And this is very important. Any number, go ahead and underline it because it's super important. Any number to the 0 power is 1. Oh my goodness, it makes no sense, but we're going to explain this a little bit more later. Any number that is to the power of 0 is 1. 1,000,000, to the 0 power is 1. Negative 5 to the 0 power is 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Any number to the first power, and let's write it with an ST so we know that's a 1. Anything to the first power is itself. Here's an example over here. Number 4, 12 to the first power is exactly that. It just means there's 1 12. So the answer is 12. Powers of what will only contain 1s and 0s? Powers of 10. Because we can multiply 10 1,000 times and all we'll still get is 1s and 0s. Please take a few seconds to try to answer these questions, and I'm going to pause the video, and you will too, please, so you can try these on your own. So check your answers against mine. For number 1, you should have 32. For number 2, you should have 125. Number 3 is 1,000. 4 we did together. 5 is 100,000. And 6 is, oh my goodness, that's hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, 10 trillion. The last part down here is really important also because people really get confused by this. The base is only what is directly in front of the power. I'm going to highlight that. Directly in front of the power. In order for a negative symbol to be included in part of the base, it has to be grouped with parentheses. This is really hard for people to remember, but if you really think about it, it's logic. If you look at this, if I don't have parentheses around the negative 2 here, that means it's just 2 to the 4th power, and then I add the negative at the end. Excuse me. If it is part of the base, then it would be included in parentheses, and it means it's negative 2 multiplied 4 times. That gives me a positive 16. If you could please try to take your calculator out right now and just see on your calculator. Do negative 2 to the 4th power without parentheses, and then try it with parentheses, and you will see that it is true.